This episode of Baby, This is Keke Palmer is sponsored by the good old folks over at Airbnb. Because some trips are better in an Airbnb. All right, y'all, let's get into it. What?
Yes, ma'am.
I love getting gifts. When y'all come to my podcast, please do what Angela's doing.
It doesn't mean that I'm not religious. It doesn't mean that I'm not a Christian because I wear this or I want to be sexy. But I feel like some people still judge me.
I feel like you definitely have this, and I feel like I'm similar way, where it's like this good girl vibe, but bad boys live for you.
Like, I just like to have fun, but I am like a good girl, but I like to have fun.
I hung out with you. You're definitely like, oh, you know, but also,
hey.
So I'm really excited, Sharon. First of all, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling good, feeling great. So I'm excited because I'm talking to Angela Simmons, who I know. We've hung out a few times. She's a very nice person. Also a Virgo. Need I say more? But I'm excited to talk to her just because I feel like we have some similarities with growing up. Not a ton, but like growing up in the public eye and growing up with her father's a reverend, my dad's a deacon.
You know how big her father was? Like, they were like rock stars. Like, you know, they were huge, like performing in huge stadiums. And then they did that
Rock this way.
Yeah, oh my God.
Talk. That man with the lips. Talk this way.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Taylor.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Talk this way. I love him with all that.
Yeah. That was huge.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So,
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't remember.
I wonder what did she think about, like people thought her dad was this like big rock star, you know, huge hip hop artist. Did she ever like see his stuff and like, oh, that was cool, or was she just thought it was, you know, embarrassing because he was her dad? Or...
Right, like how she knew him and how she saw him versus how the world saw him.
Yes, exactly.
Especially when the big change happened for his life where he decided to become a reverend.
Yeah.
Obviously coming from the music industry and, like you said, rock star, just being kind of that, what you would consider, I guess, quote unquote, edgy lifestyle.
Yeah.
To becoming a little bit more spiritual based.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Run's House?
I did with you guys. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know you guys used to watch, and I used to like the moment when he would be like in the tub and
it's iconic. It's iconic.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love the show growing up.
Yeah, and you were really good friends with the little brother. What was his name? Diggy.
Yeah, good friends with him too. Yeah, I love that show growing up. It was just so much fun. It was beautiful to see just like a positive black family. It was almost like the Cosby Show,
shows in reality.
Yeah, but in reality, you know what I mean? Like he had the situations with his kids. They was growing up. She would have a boyfriend. You know, everybody always wanted Angela.
And they also had some type of clothing line or something.
Yeah, they did. They had pastry.
Because I know you did a couple of things, you know, early in your career. Like you went to a couple of the events and all that stuff.
Yeah. So they definitely
they were iconic then that way. Wow.
Yes, in the reality space, they were a family that really like showed what could be done. Like I think they might have been the first, and then after that, we got like obviously Snoop Dogg and other families and stuff like that. But I definitely remember that one being quite groundbreaking.
Yeah.
How religious would you say we were growing up from your perspective? Because you grew up Baptist. Obviously, Dad grew up Catholic. When you guys got married, you decided to become Catholic. He then became a deacon. I'll say my opinion, but how would you describe our relationship?
I don't know. I think we're very faithful people. I think, you know, prayer has always been important to me. But I wouldn't necessarily think that I was super religious because I cuss like a sailor. So, and I think people that are super religious don't cuss, or I don't know. I wouldn't say we're fanatical about religion because your dad was a deacon. I just think you probably say we were straight.
So I feel like this. It's interesting because I think there's a certain perception that comes with faithful people, religious people, especially when you think Catholic, there's like this dogmatic ideology that's behind it that may be true to some extent.
Right.
Definitely growing up, I felt like we was really religious. Like I felt like we was on point. Like it's like church every Sunday. You know, Dad is a deacon. Like we got to do this, we got to do that. Like it was a thing. But I realized that maybe you weren't as strict as I thought you were when I was around other people that were religious. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you always taught me. I had the foundation of the word, of the book, of church. But I remember you always telling me to have my own relationship with God.
That's right. You know, growing up in the Progressive Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Pastor Dumas, and singing in the choir, that taught me a lot about people. taught me a lot about people, a lot about personalities and stuff like that. And my mother was very, I wouldn't say religious, but she definitely felt like, you know, I came from the type of home where you can't go to the movies if you don't go to church.
Yeah.
So like you can't go out partying on Saturday unless you go to church. So I was raised in that type of mentality. And I remember the pastor lost his wife. Reverend Dumas' wife died. And he waited maybe 6 months and he started dating one of the young parishioners in the church, you know, one of the young ladies. And I remember the older women gossiping about, you know, Pastor Dumas got him a girlfriend. Pastor Dumas got a girlfriend. And I remember my mother and the girlfriend were in the vestibule together. And they were like waiting to get into the church. And my mother was talking to one of her friends and the younger girlfriend. And what I mean by younger, she probably was like 40. My mother was probably like maybe 54, so older. And my mother was talking and the girlfriend said, Mildred, you know you're not supposed to talk in the vestibule while the pastor is up at the pulpit. And my mother turned to her and said, because you're sleeping with the pastor, that don't mean you get to tell me what to do.
Oh.
Then my mother turned around and walked out.
Grandma was Lady Miss Jacqueline?
Yes.
Wait a damn minute.
And we never went back to that church again. They called my mother and told my mother that she wasn't welcome back unless she got before the church and apologized. And my mother was like, okay, y'all can kick rocks because I won't be coming back.
But I think what you're saying is so interesting. I'm wondering how you got back to your faith within that, because I think sometimes the political things that can happen in any community, whether it's church, whether it's school, whether it's literally politics, there's all these different things that can make you lose hope in what you're all really supposed to be there for.
Yeah, so I lost my sense of community, that's for sure, from age maybe 15 to maybe 20. I got married at age 20, and then I was pregnant with L'Oreal at 21. And I remember your dad getting up, going to mass. And he was literally going by himself, getting up and going. And I said, you know what? I want to go with you. I want to go to church with you. And we just started going to mass. And I went with him, and I knew a lot of the people.
What?
Yeah, I knew a lot of the people from just being in the area, in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't know all these black people was Catholic. So in any case, I went to that church, St. Peter Claver, and it was full of black people. Black people that I knew, a lot of them. And I was like, oh, girl, I didn't know you was Catholic.
But it's so funny.
You know, I was like, you kind of cool and you Catholic.
Growing up,
Girl, let me just tell you this. I got to tell you this.
Okay.
The local drug dealer was up in there. He was Catholic. I was like,
Sharon, I'm on the floor. But it's so funny because as I got older and I would talk to people like, oh yeah, I'm raised Catholic. I was like, really? There's black people. I don't know why it was such a thing, because for me in the community, it was I didn't know there was there's all these perceptions that may or may not be true.
Right.
That you realize as you get older, especially when you've grown up differently.
Right.
I mean, life is interesting. It takes us on a crazy journey. It really, really does. You know, it really is interesting to me. But I love this. I love this conversation. I'm excited to see how this impacted Angela's life, and also just to hear about what it was like growing up in the spotlight with her, because you know, that was also different. And not something she asked for, right? Because her dad was just famous.
Well, like I said, her dad was huge rock star. He was, you know, him and his partner and the DJ. They were iconic and they revolutionized music. And so I'm just curious to know, does she know? I know she knows it, but what does she feel about
but who's the DMC?
Run.
Because he's Rev Run, so he's the Run. Who's the DMC?
Good question. I don't know what's the DJ name. I'm sure they have many documentaries on them because they were so iconic. So I'm sure we can find that out.
Well, we'll get into it with her. The streets call me Keke Palmer for good reason. Your girl is busy, okay? Producing this amazing podcast, writing my second memoir, running my own production company on top of acting, singing, dancing, and hosting. I'm working hard, but I need to play hard too. And for me, these days, playing honestly means resting. Yeah. And that's where Airbnb comes in, because there is nothing better than sending the group chat a quick weekend trip message, then immediately pulling up Airbnb's guest favorites to see what's highly rated, close by and available ASAP for a quick girls-only weekend getaway. Baby, when I tell you we found the cutest little cabin in Joshua Tree outside LA, it was like our own private oasis. Y'all know I don't mind roughing it now and then, but my girlfriends do not share my rough and tumble proclivities. So glamping it is. Luckily, we got luxurious 5-star accommodations while still unplugging in nature to let our edges breathe. Yes, I said edges. Thank you, Airbnb. The best part was having our own kitchen to whip up some snacks and cocktails. No more cramming into a tiny hotel room, having to drink out of a paper coffee cup and serving, I don't know, just not fabulousness, especially with the overpriced minibar options. In our Airbnb, we could truly let our hair down and make some memories. Listen, I'm trying to put y'all on game. Some trips are seriously better in an Airbnb. So the next time you need a girls trip or a staycation, check out the guest favorites on Airbnb first. If there's one thing I love, it's a good, scary story that gets your imagination running wild. And Audible has them in spades. Let me tell you, the audiobook I'm listening to is a straight-up thrilling ride. It's called The Haunted by Bentley Little. And this thing is not for the faint of heart, okay? It's officially spooky season, so why not listen to this horror novel by an author my sister was raving about? So The Haunted follows a family who moves into a house, right? A new house. And of course, this place is crawling with some serious supernatural activity. Strange noises, creepy visions, and all kind of unsettling stuff. And the more they try to get to the bottom of it, the deeper they get pulled into the twisted, terrifying mystery. See, the beauty of listening to a book like this on Audible is that the experience is wild and immersive. It's like the words are just seeping into your brain, making every hair on the back of your neck stand straight up. You're going to be picturing every last chilling detail, and you'll get spooked right alongside the characters. The suspense is going to have you on the edge of your seat, heart pounding, palm sweating, just perfect for this time of year. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's fall, I'm busy, I don't have time to listen to a whole audiobook, but that's when being an Audible member comes in clutch, besties, okay? As a member, you get to choose one title a month to keep forever in your library. And remember, Audible is made for your busy schedule, so you can listen at your own pace, whether you're commuting, working out, or just trying to escape the demons in your own home. Ooh. Just hit play on the Audible app. Thanks to Audible, there's more to imagine when you listen. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Keke or text KEKE to 500-500. That's audible.com/KEKE or text KEKE to 500-500.
Baby, this is Keke.
Listeners, I'm so excited for today's guest. Okay, she is a reality TV legend, entrepreneur, and fashion icon who you might know from her days on Run's House, the reality show featuring her father, Joseph Simmons, a.k.a. Reverend or Run DNC, or more recently from Growing Up Hip Hop. She is truly an amazing person and a great friend of mine. Angela Simmons, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Girl, so how have things been? How you doing? What's the vibes? Working?
Busy, good, momming, in a relationship, doing the work thing, balancing.
Oh my gosh, and as a Virgo, you know, we're always perfectionists. We gotta
super perfectionist.
So
everything has to be like perfect.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to talk to you today because I feel like we have so much in common.
Yes, we do.
Growing up in the public eye, you know, PK kids. So let's start from the beginning. How old were you when you first started Run's House?
Oh my gosh. So I was just talking about this with somebody. So 17, I want to say. So it was right when I was graduating out of high school. So that's when we first started, which I was like, I was grateful for that because I actually got to have a regular, like super regular, well, I won't say regular, right? Because my dad had me on the road and super, but it was more regular, like childhood because I wasn't on TV at that point.
So you were pretty integrated into his industry. Like he would have you on the road with him?
On
like,
the road.
Real time?
I remember like being on the road in a van, like going with him to shows, like for real, for real.
Wow. What did you think about the industry at that time?
I didn't know nothing. Like, I was just like, I feel like you're more of like a kid, like just watching. And I think for a long time, I didn't even know like who my dad was. Like, we would go to these shows and I'm like, okay, cool. It wasn't until like one of those really big shows and you're like, wait a minute. Or like when you go to school and like the kids are like, the parents are like, can we get a picture of your dad? I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, and then eventually, like, you're like, oh, okay. Like, it took a while, but.
Wow. So, was your dad always a minister?
No.
Or did you watch the transition of him becoming a minister?
Watch the transition, and then all of a sudden, we were in church 3 times a week.
Wow. So, okay, what age were you when that became a part of you guys' life?
That was like right before Run's House, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah, because we were in church Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. New Year's Eve. Like, you know, like.
Were you resistant or were you like, okay, I'm not mad at this, like, system?
We were the kid. I was like, we were young. So, like, it was like, this is what you're doing. My sister was going to college. So I used to try to, like, you know, sometimes dip off with her. Like, where we going? But I mainly had to go. I lived at home.
Wow. Yeah, I remember my dad becoming a deacon. I was definitely in church every Sunday.
Really?
And I remember my dad doing a lot of Bible study. But I just remember, like, going to vacation Bible school, you know what I mean? Just being at church, doing stuff with the church things. And then my mom being like, your dad is becoming a deacon.
Wow.
You know, he's going to be ordained. And then it was like this big thing. And I'm like, what does this mean for our life? But I don't think our life really changed too much.
Change.
I mean, I think people have so many preconceived notions about what it means to be a person of faith.
Yeah,
that I never really experienced.
That's true.
And
I didn't either.
I think that's what I loved and what so many people loved about you guys' show, Run's House, is because it took away a lot of that thing that made people feel like there was no entry point in faith without all this judgment.
Yeah. It's like it's real family. We're just at church.
Yeah.
We love Christ. We love God. We're at church. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a real life. It's a real family.
Now, I remember, obviously we didn't have social media, but still, I mean, I guess, we maybe like almost on our way to it.
It was the beginning somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
the beginning of it.
Started somewhere, a little bit.
But I just remember everybody wanted Angela Simmons. Like, it was always, we're seeing some relationship you were in.
Man, the relationship thing was like, it was always something different.
It was always. So what was it like growing up in the public eye and being, you know, people wanting to get next to you and like trying to figure out how to have real relationships outside of the industry?
It was different. I mean, I didn't understand. I was like, why are they so interested in my love life? Like, 'cause I used to just be like, I'm low with it. Like, I'm not even trying to be outside. Like, I'm just minding my business.
But you would be dating icons. Like, I mean, come on.
I guess because I grew up around it. Like, that was just like regular in my head. You know what I mean? But then I was just like, I'm not trying to like put anything out there. Like, I'm just trying to be quiet and date. You know what I mean? But it was different. It's definitely different to so many different people, different angles, trying to be your friend. I think that's one of the things with trust, not knowing who you can trust, who you can't trust, who's trying to be around you because you're family or like what they can get. And I think that comes with the space too, is like having discernment, like, okay, who's right to be around me, who's not, and like, that's definitely one of those things. And
I feel like it only comes with trial and error. Like, we all have been in this situation where we're like, oh, wait a minute, I guess you really weren't my friend.
Of course.
You know.
That's hard.
It's very, very hard. Yeah. It's very hard because it also kind of makes you end up... I remember writing about this in my book where it becomes this thing where you know you're a cool person, but when people want to be cool with you off the basis of this, it makes you end up questioning, like, why are you overlooking... I'm a cool person.
Like, do you know me?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, what about me for me? And I think that I've lost friends, and that is a very hard thing. Like, because already I think, like us, like, you have small circles. So to lose anyone, like, from that circle is like, that's hard.
When you started Run's House, like you said, you were 17, 18. People were all up in your dating life. You were starting to really kind of, I mean, that's the teenage age. We're coming into our own, making our own decisions. When you look back on the show and when you think back on that time, do you recognize that person? Do you feel like you're very different from then? Is it any moments where you're like, ooh, cringe?
I feel like I've just grown into a woman, but I'm still like that person at heart. I like to have fun. I like good energy. I've always been like that. So I just feel like I just grown more as a person. I think after you become a mother, you change a lot. Yeah. Like that changed me a lot. I grew a lot more patience. I feel like my son taught me some patience because I was a lot more impatient before him. But I just would say I became more of a woman. Like I was just young, but I still have that like young part about me at heart. Like I like to have fun.
Yeah, definitely. I love to have fun too, girl. We've had fun together a few times.
Oh yeah, good times. New York.
So dealing with both growing up in the public eye and then obviously having this religious background and whatever preconceived notions people had about that, how was it for you dealing with that pressure growing up?
I feel like people still have them about me. You know what I mean? I think, too, like, because people have watched me grow up on Run's House, they still think I'm 17. Yeah. You know, you see somebody like, yeah, you've grown up. Bro, I'm not stuck in Run's House at 17. Like, yeah, I'm a grown woman. Yeah. But, you know, I think they feel like because you come from this religious background, you can't do certain things. You can't wear certain things. You can't say certain things. And it's like, but you're still your individual self. Yeah. It doesn't mean that I'm not religious. It doesn't mean that I'm not a Christian because I wear this or I want to be sexy or, you know what I mean? Like, but it still comes with the territory. Like, I feel like some people still judge me from that, like, that viewpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get into a damn bathtub with Oreos without them bringing up that last scene in the Run House.
It's
like,
crazy.
This is me. Everybody got a bathtub.
No, but they said this is coming from that. This is you're about to give us some Reverend's words of wisdom right
but
now.
I love how you deal with that. I feel like I deal with things a similar way as you. Like, I'm not going to let people change me to be someone I'm not, but I'm also going to still have fun.
That's me.
And learn to just like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like this whole concept of what's cool, what's not. We have such a weird culture in social media that's defined by trying to make everybody the same thing.
Yeah, and I don't believe in that. I'm like, do you. Whatever that is, like whatever makes you feel your best, to me, it's like, do that. And I stand by that. Like, I'm like, that can be a trend, but if I'm doing this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, that's how I live.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
Speaking of just doing your own things, you started a shoe line very, very young. Let's not forget about pastry.
Me and my sister. My sister and I traveled the world, like Europe. We were everywhere. That was so fun.
What made you want to do that and start being an entrepreneur essentially so young?
You know, I went to school, fashion school. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I actually graduated from a fashion high school, fashion industries, and then I went to the college.
Yeah.
So that was always in me to be a designer. And then my sister and I got together and it was like the funnest collaboration. Can you imagine being 17 and like for years traveling the road together? We're doing it was just the funnest thing ever. And like we learned so much about business young and we traveled the world. Like who doesn't want to do that?
It's pretty hard to run a business.
Yes.
What did you feel like you learned about that? Because you guys, how long did you have pastry?
It was a minute. I want to say over 8 years. Like it was a while. It was a while.
So what was the journey of getting to the point where, okay, you know what, we want to close this and maybe I'm not going to focus on this right now?
You know, I think things change with time. And at the time, it just made sense to part ways from it. So we just like, okay. But we learned a lot. Like we designed shoes from scratch. Like people loved it. It was awesome. Like, but again, it was a learning curve and there was things that we had to learn as we went along and like, because we were underneath people who already had like basically the recipe on how to do this. So it's like mentors and mentees and making sure that we were listening. So I was learning more than anything too.
How much was your dad involved in those decisions? I mean, obviously he did music. I don't know if you ever were interested in music. Obviously, you're in the music
of course.
show. But how was his influence when it came to your pursuits? Was he kind of like letting y'all do your own thing, or was he like, hey, let me?
So he's both. I would say him and my uncle were a part of that actually with the shoe line. Like in the beginning and everything that we were doing, like they were definitely vocal and helpful, and that is the best part. It's like my parents have always been super supportive of anything that we do. Like we could be like, we don't do this no more, and they would be like, cool. Like they get behind us. So my dad was very vocal, very open. If we ever have questions, even to this day, I'll call him right now. He's going to give me his great advice. And like, you know, he's just an awesome dad when it comes to that stuff.
How much do you feel like your parents' influence shaped what you're ambitious about? Like for me, you know, it's always funny. I tell people both of my parents were entertainers. My dad was an actor. My mom was an actor. And they maybe didn't get paid for it. They're not like known actors. But I feel like my desire to do it also comes from me, but it does come from their influence. It shapes you. And I wanted to be a part of, I think, what they loved so much and what brought them together. Obviously, you don't do music, but you are in the entertainment business.
For sure.
Have you ever thought to yourself, okay, what I would look if I wasn't doing and being a part of what my family was a part of?
Yeah, I mean, so my parents have always been super supportive, like you said. So like my mom, actually school teacher. So I watched her like do that, work at a glasses place, like an optical place. So I would go to work with my mom and then I would watch my dad on the road. So like to me, like it kept us like humble in a great place, and like they definitely shaped everything. Like to me, like the ambitiousness and wanting to like being ambitious and watching my dad on the road, how hard he worked, like it just made me want to do it.
Yeah.
But they never pushed us in a direction to like choose. Like I said, it was like always like whatever we wanted to do. So I respect that and I love that. And that's how I am with my little boy. Like I'm like, whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? Like you do it. And he thinks he's a little businessman already. I'm like, you're 7. He wants to drive. I'm like, he can't drive yet. And I mean real cars. I'm like, I want to drive. He wants a job right now.
I thought my son was so unique with the car obsession, but then I realized like every little
boys love some cars.
Girl, what? And
but
I
it won't stop.
But it won't stop. The mechanism?
But they don't all love, like some boys do, but like if he likes it right now, it gets worse. Like my son knows names. He wants the Lamborghini. He wants to know why we have this car. Are we going to get this one?
Oh my God.
And he's obsessed like since he was 9 months and it never left him. Like he is 7 going on 8 and he loves cars.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. I can't even imagine what my little boy is going to look like at 8.
Isn't that crazy?
But obviously you've been a single mom for a long time. I'm a single mom. What has that journey been like for you? And I'm sorry for the passing of your son's father. I know that was terrible.
Very hard. It was, honestly, I didn't see that coming. Obviously, even with me and his dad separated, it was just like, I never thought that could be me. It was a really hard thing to go through. I didn't even know how to process it. Like, soon as everything happened, I like honestly went to therapy like the day, 2 days after it happened, because I was like, I don't know how to process this. My son's name is his father's name, and you know, I just never knew that would be me. I mean, his father's side of the family is absolutely supportive and like amazing. And so that helps. And my family's so amazing. So like that helped me a lot. So I've leaned into family a lot. And that has been helpful for me. But I never thought I'd be a single mom. I'm like, you know, you have a kid to think this is what it's going to be. And this is how, in your head, like, it's got to be perfect. Like, never say never, because you just don't know, you know? But it's had its, you know, its moments. It really does. Like, you're like sitting there, somebody like, how am I? It's just me and you. Like, this is what we're doing.
I think it's one of those things that has this stigma, and nobody goes into definitely a situation of having a kid and thinking it isn't going to be what I seen growing up, or I'm not going to have what I walked into this thinking. But I know for me, it's one of those things where, hey, whatever's best for my kid. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Obviously,
important.
there's part of your story that you couldn't control.
Yeah.
You know, how did you explain that to your son?
You know,
Because it's one thing we're not
tough.
together, and another thing you're not going to see this person again.
So that, for me, because he was only 2 when it happened, and even now, like, I want to say in the last 2 years, he looks online, which made it really tough for me, right? Like, I'm thinking the conversation I'm going to have with him would be when he's 10. And he calls me. I'm like in the middle about to go into an event for Angela's Cakes, actually, and he's like, Mommy. I'm like, you know, my father's son's mom, like, she calls me and she's like, I'm gonna give you a heads up. He's asking how his dad got murdered. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
What? So he gets on the phone and he's bawling. He's like, I don't know why he's not here, but why would somebody shoot him? And then next thing you know, the next day he's like, someone murdered him. And I'm like, what are you looking at, baby? I'm like, you can't look online because there's too much online. I don't know what you're even feeding, but I just hated that the internet told my son before I can tell him.
That shit is so fucking annoying.
Man, I was so bothered because he got the story and the narrative from online before I could even like sit him down and have that conversation. Because you know what? At 2 and 3, he was asking me like, what happened to my dad? And I was to say like a bad guy did something bad to him. You know, like I didn't, like, how do you tell a kid that's 3 that what happened? You know, and he just kept asking, and he would ask his grandmother separately and other people, like, so what happened? Yeah. Like, what? And he's only 3, so you got to imagine 3, 4-year-old asking these questions, but we're like, he's not ready to hear this.
Yeah, he's not able to process it. You know what I mean? That's the thing with the internet. The access is good, but then you have access to stuff that your mind mentally can't really metabolize.
It hurt, and it hurts every time he'd be like, so Mommy, like, when are we going to get married? When are we going to do this? Like, he just has questions. He's so smart, and kids are so smart that, like, you just never know what they're going to ask. But and honestly, he's in a good, like, strong, like mind state right now. I think it's really about like like what you give them and what you allow them to see. He always is going to ask questions, but for me, like, the best thing you can do when a child doesn't have a parent that they're not going to see anymore is keep them alive. So like, I'll talk about things that like his dad may have liked, or your dad was like that, and he'd be like, really? Or he'll ask to see pictures, and he'll want to see what, you know, like, my dad likes stuff like that. Like, because, you know, they still have those questions in them, like, why am I like this? You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's a big one for me, especially when it comes to if the parents aren't together kind of thing.
They want to know.
A part of my child's esteem is going to grow in connection to that person. Mm-hmm. So keeping a positive representation of us both is what makes them feel confident in themselves. Yeah. And obviously when you're dealing with themes like murder, and it's like, what do that lead to? What was going on? What was the, you know, that can be a tough thing to address.
Definitely, it is.
But again, children, they mirror to us what we need to learn or grow or evolve in. What do you feel like your son has taught you thus far about yourself that you didn't know or you didn't need?
I'm way stronger than I thought, right? Because I just never knew this would be the situation that we're in. He just really taught me, like I said, a lot of patience, but really like how to really like just be strong and like present as much as I can be, you know, as a mom, like, especially like I feel like in positions that we're in, we're very busy. Yeah. So being present, you know, like I'll pick up the phone or drop down. He called me right now. I'll be like, yes, I'm working. But do you need something? You know what I mean? But just trying to be as present as I can for him, especially at this age, because they're like really moldable right now, and like everyone can have an influence. So just making sure that my influence is like present for him.
Yeah. Do you think you want more kids? I know I kind of had asked you that off camera.
I would have maybe one more. 2 might be pushing it.
Well, like we were saying, when you get past that 5 years old,
but then I go back and forth. I'm like, do you really want to do this again? Like, if my son's a handful, I'm like, do you really want to do it again? I don't know. I mean, I'm like, your baby's only 19 months. Like, it's the cute age. Like, it's such a yummy age.
Girl, I would love to have 10 kids.
You could have 10?
I would love it. I mean, I don't know if my body can actually.
Would you push 10
I'm gonna have to get my girl reupholstered. But if that's what I gotta do, or maybe I get like 2 or 3, like what do you call it, surrogates at once? Like, girl, how you doing?
All together. Hey, all y'all around me. Come on, we going.
We all pregnant. You know what I mean? I just like my son got pushed, girl, at the Children's Museum.
Push at the museum.
At the Children's Museum.
No, he didn't.
This lady's son pushed my baby to the ground.
What? What?
So I'm not going to say I didn't do nothing to the kid, but I do remember looking at the kid like this.
Oh no, you can't take it.
I did twitch a little bit.
You can't.
I didn't do nothing harm to the kid, but I did look at the kid and I just you know
got to shaking,
trembled a bit.
I don't want to come over there
because
you can't do nothing.
So I thought to myself, you know what would be great is if my son has like 4, 5, 6 other siblings. Then it's like, boom, we
He's
out here
gonna ask
mobbing.
for him too. It happens because my son's on me like that. He's like, "Mommy, can I?" I'm like, "Bro, like you got cousins. We don't got to do this." He's like, "Yeah, but they don't live with me though." I'm like, but I was like, but then it would be a baby. But I'll change the diapers. I'm like, bro, you doing too much. He's serious too. Like I have responsibility. I can do it.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. When they ask, you just be sitting there like, I don't know.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm not the only Palmer addicted to listening on Audible. I've been a member for years, and my sister and the rest of my family have been converted as well. The beauty of Audible is that they've got the most incredible selection out there. Bestsellers, new releases, exclusive Audible originals, you name it, they've got it. And as a member, you get to choose one title a month to keep forever. So you can dive into all kinds of genres, discover new favorites, and get inspired anytime, anywhere. And whether you're listening to stories, motivational talks, expert advice, or any other genre you love on Audible, your mind will take flight. You can picture new worlds, fresh possibilities. I mean, it's like you're living and breathing it all. There's just something about listening that unlocks your imagination and allows you to expand your horizons. I mean, with Audible, there's more to imagine when you listen. And you know what that means, right? Positive change, sis. Yes, listening on Audible can seriously boost your mood, tweak your habits, and level up your overall well-being. It's a total game changer. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Keke or text Keke to 500-500. That's audible.com/KEKE or text KEKE to 500-500. So one thing about you is interesting. You've dated people in the industry. You've dated people outside the industry. Me personally, I've always been really afraid to date people in the industry.
I understand.
Because anybody that has, you know, it comes with all these hang-ups. People in your business. People judge you. People using them as a way to judge you.
Ridiculous.
I mean, how have you dealt with it? You're obviously in a high-profile relationship right now. How do you deal with, because I feel like you do such a good job at not hiding it, owning it, but also being like, I don't care what y'all think.
Yeah.
How the hell do you do that?
So it's just this thing in me. It's like, I don't know. And I feel like maybe part of it, my dad instilled in me young just to not care. Like, you know, I feel like I remember being younger around Run's House days and being on Media Takeout. Do you remember that?
Girl, of course. Media Takeout, honey, yes. I feel like it still goes on.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I used to be on there all the time. And I remember having a moment like where they seen me somewhere and my dad was like, that is not that many people in the whole world. And I was like, geez. I never thought about it like that. He's like, there's a whole world. And I was like, after that, I was just like, why do I care?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm cool, I can't be worried about what other people think about me, my relationships, who I am. I know who I am. I come home to me at night. Yeah. You know, like, you guys don't know me. You know what I mean? So to me, like, those people who don't know me, it doesn't matter to me.
Is there something you think that you do love or that feels familiar about dating people that come from the same background you do? I mean, your dad's a rapper. You date rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how do you feel like there's a connection there that just feels comfort?
Yeah, I would say maybe the similarities of what I've grown up around, right? So like, it's still the same busy life, very different, but then there are similarities, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like parts of that, I'll be like, okay, that's like my dad some. You know what I mean? Like, I think a woman always looks a little bit for their dad somewhere, somehow.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, it's definitely similar moments, I would say.
And I feel like you definitely have this, and I feel like I'm similar way, where it's like this good girl vibe, but bad boys live for you. I mean, the edgy bad boy vibe, they come for you. And I feel like I feel the same energy as well.
Like, I'm a good girl, but,
what can I say?
I still like to have fun. A little ratchet. Come on.
Yes.
I like to turn up.
What do you credit that to? Do you just think that's just how it always is, that Romeo and Juliet, just like kind of that yin and yang?
I think it has to be because I'm like, I don't be trying. I just be minding my business. I'm like I just like to have fun, but I am like a good girl, but I like to have fun.
I know that with you. You're definitely like, but also, hey. Yes. And I love that about you. It's balance.
I was about to say, you need balance.
It's giving balance.
Yeah, it's giving a balance.
I feel like you've always had such a big influence. Even before, like when we think about the age of influencers, you've always had that it girl factor where it's like whatever you were wearing, your vibe, your attitude, the people that you're around, people that want to be around you. What do you credit that to other than being a Virgo?
Hello. Hi. Virgo season, did you say? I don't know. I just think that I'm confident in it. And like you said in the beginning, like owning it. Yeah. Like I own who I am. I'm not looking to like be like anyone to my left, to my right. Like I totally respect people. I have people that I look up to, love what they do, but I'm not like ever looking to be anyone except myself. Yeah. Like I'm cool. Like I'm cool in this skin. You know what I mean?
What is something about reality TV that we may not know? Because I feel like you are someone that was on the beginning of when it was really, really blowing up. You still do it with growing up hip hop. What's the experience of reality TV? How much do you go in knowing is under your control and that's not? Because some of it we feel is scripted, but then other things it feel like people really is breaking down on.
So that's happening. You know what I mean? I think in real time, real things are happening on reality shows, but you have to keep pieces of yourself to yourself. Like, if you give everything, then what do you have? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to know how to give just enough, but still keep something to yourself. And that's in life. I think in relationships, I think in life, you have to know how to balance that. Like, okay, what do I give to you and what do I keep for me?
Absolutely. While still being real. I was just talking about that with somebody else about how it's like, authenticity ain't telling you every damn thing that's going on in my brain, boo.
Oh, hi. You're not going to know everything.
That's too much. I don't even know everything. I'm working through it.
All day. Just mad thoughts.
But it's that boundary line of knowing that, hey, this is for me and this is for you.
Yeah, I can't give you that. It's not going to happen. I'm going to keep this over here.
Do you think that a show as positive as Run's House could exist in the climate that we have now, where I feel like everything is so motivated by I don't want to say negative, but just something salacious. You know what I mean?
We need it. I think we need shows like that. I think we need to get back to positive things. I think, obviously what's happening is happening. It's fine if people are entertained, but I mean, there's still nice, wholesome families and great things happening in the world and, moments like that. So I do think it could exist. I think it just depends on where, when, how.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's balanced because I do love Zeus every now and then.
No, you know what I'm saying? I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
You know what I mean? But I would love to
want to be entertained, want to have fun.
Yes. Let's talk about what you got going on right now. How did you get interested in making vegan desserts? Are you vegan? Am I late to this party of for you?
So this is the mix, and you can make it with your baby too. Oh. So it makes pancakes, funnel cake, waffles. It'll be donuts soon, and fried Oreos.
Oh,
one mix that does it all.
Oh my gosh! What made you are you a big cake eater? What was the tea on that?
So I'm vegan, but Pinky Cole is definitely one of the driving forces behind it. So I sat down with her. She has Slutty Vegan and
shout outs to her.
Love Pinky. And I was like, I like this idea. I like breakfast. I am a big breakfast person.
Me too.
I can eat breakfast whenever. I don't care what time it is. So to me, I'm like, this is perfect. And it's perfect. It tastes good. I want you to try it at home and tell me. You text me later, let me know.
Yes, I will.
But it's fun too. I like to have fun. So to me, funnel cake. Who has a mix of funnel cake?
So this just came from y'all being friends and hanging out and
sitting down talking. Thought of it. I was like, I like this. And it's a year old in August, this month. So
I love that. Congratulations. Now, who is the mastermind behind the Oreo bathtub moment?
Kalila,
because I
my
lived
partner.
for it.
Kalila.
I lived for that.
I had a ball doing
it. And I love that it gets people talking. I like anything that gets people engaged because we need y'all to know what's going on.
Why y'all so mad, first of all? I was like, why you so mad? I'm chilling. I thought it was cool. I was chilling in the bath with Oreos. Having a good time.
It was also original because who else was in the bathtub with them Oreos?
Nobody. I ain't never seen it.
And then everybody found out it did its job because then everybody said why, and then they found out why, and then they found out about the product.
Hello, hi, we're selling fried Oreos.
It's very much giving you, marketing queen, marketing genius. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. What do you think is something that people don't know about you that you would be cool with them knowing right now on my podcast?
You know what I hear a lot of people say, and maybe people have to be around me. I'm like, I'm funny. I'm like, but I'm not trying to be funny. I'm like, I'm just being myself. Like, I'll be just talking and they're like laughing. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Like, why are you laughing at me? Like, but like, I guess I don't know that I'm funny.
I think it's also this amazing quality that I love, that you don't take yourself too seriously.
Because you can't.
That's too much. And I'm not that kind of, like, to me, the too serious, count me out. I'm the person where something crazy happened and I'm about to start laughing.
If you walk into a wall and I'm sorry, as long as you're okay, I'm laughing.
And I might even laugh before I realize you're okay, but I'm sorry.
You good?
You know what I mean?
Someone walked into the wall on set the other day and we were all like, and I'm like, eyes. Like, you trip. I'm laughing. Me and my sister are the worst. If she was with me, I can't even look her way. Because she's busting out laughing.
When the next time we see y'all do something together?
Oh, you just hit another. The other gift.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
I love getting gifts. When y'all come to my podcast, please do it, Angela's.
Have a hair texture with yummy extensions collection called Angelic. And this is for you.
Babe, I love weave hairs.
Me too. This right here.
Yes, girl. Are you kidding me, boo?
Yes, you got the bundles.
Oh my gosh. I love a card. Let me open my card real quick.
Open your card.
Because I do love cards. This is very classy.
Got a little.
Hello, Miss Palmer. Thank you for choosing Yummy Extensions. As a woman who embodies all the things yummy, we know you are going to love it. With love, the Yummy team.
Yes.
This is so fab, babe. Thank you so much. I just live for the business.
Oh, we always working.
I love that about you. Virgos, that's one thing we're going to do.
I like to work, though. I like working. I like to have fun, and if it's not going to be fun, why not?
But I feel like that's a real key to what you're saying. Not only is it fun, but you're working with people that you seem that you like, that are friends, or that you connect with.
Yes.
How do you do that? We actually had an episode where we were talking about networking. Like, what is the difference between networking and friendships, and how do you combine them both?
Yeah.
What do you think the balance is with that for you? Because sometimes when somebody asks me about business early on, I get spooked for the same reason we were talking about.
Immediately. I want to know who are you? What we doing? I'm synergy person. I'm an energy person. Like, I want people to like match. We got to match energy some sort of way. You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing, like with that. And most of my relationships and people around me, I've known like 10, 15 plus years. Like, and then like, it just happens like organically. You know what I mean? Like you said, like if someone just comes to you want to do business, like, okay, why? What we doing? Like even Yummy, I've known her for years, but like people, I like good energy. I like things to be synergetic, and it's important to have that energy all the way through any project that I'm working on. Like we gotta have fun doing this.
Yeah,
we can make money. That's cool, but all money ain't good money. You know what they say. So it's important that we're having a good time.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And I feel like I found that later on in my career, especially being so young. First of all, I wasn't the same age as the people that I was working with. Right. So there's that already. Yeah. But then when I got older, my best friend actually, who's over there, I talk about her a lot on the podcast. Yeah. She was like the first person that I met my age at my job that I was like, oh, I actually like her as a person. Like,
that's the best
I think we could actually work together.
Isn't that the best when you find like your friend, like your bestie, like, yeah, we gonna vibe.
Yes, literally. And we can actually do what we love to do best, which is work our heels off.
Exactly.
Crazy. Let's be workaholics together. You know, we both have addictions.
It is an addiction.
Angela, you're amazing.
Thank you.
I always love hanging out with you.
For real, we got to do something.
We do.
We need to do a Virgo thing, though, because it's the Virgo. It's the Virgo month. They don't even understand.
They don't even understand.
It's special. I try. When people say Virgo, I'm like, they don't get it.
Do you know your rising and your moon?
I'm a Leo.
Whoa, the Leo comes through with you because you're always fierce. You're always like the fashion. I do think that with Leos, it's always glamorous. Sometimes it's straight Virgo. We be too homebody with that.
Can be. Yeah, so it's probably the Leo in me that be. I'll wear heels all day. You put me in some sweats, I'm gonna wear a heel.
I remember when we went out, you was like heel down, glamour down. I was like, Angela, please.
That's the New York, though. You know, in New York, you can get up and get dressed anytime.
I love
it. Like, but you just going to lunch. Yeah, but it needs to give what it needs to give. Like, I'm outside.
I'm howling. Before I let you go, we have to play a game because we always play a game on my podcast. Good. Okay. This one is Sorry to This Man. I'm going to play you 1 second of a song.
Oh, God.
And then you'll have to tell me what song it is and who it's by.
Lord. Okay.
Are you good?
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
I'm nervous.
Okay, let's get started. You ready?
What if I don't know?
You're gonna know.
You sure?
First one.
My man.
Come on. You guys didn't even get that. So you
My
know which
man?
One.
Is that your Gotti?
Do you know which one it is?
Oh, rake it up.
Yeah, that's it.
I better know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, boom, you got it. Next one.
Wasn't sorry to that man.
Okay, was not sorry to this man.
Oh, dang, you ain't give me enough there.
My recital. I think it's
My dad?
Do you know which one it is?
Yo, Jay, hit it. I gotta hear the whole. Let me get the beat.
very vital.
She said, "Yo, Jay, hit it."
That's right.
It's tricky. My dad.
Yeah, it's tricky. Well, whenever I think about that, I think about what movie is it? Oh, the Wayans brothers, White Chick.
Yo, that movie was just on the other day, and I was rolling looking at it.
Oh my gosh, too good. Okay,
that always cracks me up.
Oh, this next one.
Oh man,
one of my faves.
Let's go.
I think.
Oh, is it down the DM? My man again?
Okay, next one. You're nailing these.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Walk this way.
Oh,
my dad.
Now that was just, it's the my dad, my man staying vibe.
Them my two leading men in my life. Come on.
What sign is your dad and what sign is Gotti?
My dad is a Scorpio and he is a Taurus.
Oh, Virgo and Taurus is a perfect match.
Yes.
That's a perfect astrological match. Oh my gosh.
And actually Scorpios are the perfect match too for Virgos.
I didn't, well, actually,
They're
I believe
one
that
of them.
because I thought that Scorpios is like our evil twins.
But they're actually, we get along. And my son's father was a Scorpio, but like they are perfect match. So my dad and I, like we get along so well. Like
oh my gosh, I love it.
What's funny, even though something funnier is my man's, his birthday is May 17th, so is my mom. She's a Taurus.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, was it when you finally met him that you felt the spark, or was it after meeting him a couple times?
So
we had been around.
We had been around each other a couple of times, and it was just like that final time. It was like, it's over. Like, he got me.
Yes! Well, Tauruses are relentless. They are very stubborn in a really good way.
He was chilling, though. Like, honestly, like, he wasn't even, like, sweating me. Like, no, like, he was chilling. We just went out, and I was like, and then that was it. Like, inseparable.
Oh, MG, I love that. I love that. Well, we still felt that chase even from the internets, the comments.
That's
that was so
crazy.
Sweet.
Everybody saw it from the
It's very sweet.
back.
I like
you.
those love stories.
Thank you.
Okay, last one.
Please let me know this last one.
You're gonna. Now, you let a lot play, Candace.
I know it. I know the voice, but I need the rest of the song. It's my man. It's Yo Gotti again, but I need the rest of it. It was 5-star chick or something. I need
5-star.
Okay,
yeah,
so I knew it was 5-star. I knew it was something. I'm like,
obviously you did it because Virgos are perfect at everything, and that is what it is.
Can't help it.
I'm walking out of here with I guess you're walking out of here, leaving me with my original funnel cake mix by you and my yummy hair.
You're going to have your weave.
Period.
And then you're going to have your mix.
Okay.
Pancakes.
Period. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
to the
you.
show.
This was
fabulous.
fun. Have me back whenever.
Yes. That was a great conversation with Angela. One thing that really resonated with me is how we both have had to learn to define ourselves outside of what the world saw. I mean, growing up in the spotlight can be overwhelming, but finding your own identity and purpose is obviously the key to flourishing. That's my biggest takeaway. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week because you know it's your girl.
Baby, this is Keke.